All right, so we are going to move into topic number 2, and this is coming out of the Colorado Rockies organization, and one of their players, one of their stars, is a little unhappy.
I'm assuming by that tone that you are not on Arenado's side.
I got $278 million, and you're not doing enough for me. Piss off, Nolan. Piss off.
So he's got no right to be
Who else
upset?
are they supposed to be able to pay? Nobody. And their money is log jammed up with absolutely awful signings like Desmond and who else? They should have never given him any money. And I think they ended up getting, was it Wade Davis?
Yeah, I'm going to look
that
up their
didn't
spot
go
graph.
well. I mean, it's been bad. So don't come and cry to us when we gave you all the money in the frickin' world. Well, apparently not, because Trout got more. But then we go and try and make some moves, as bad as they may have been. I think their heart was probably in the right place.
Yeah,
and then now you're going to be like, I want to be traded because you guys didn't do enough this offseason. With what funds?
So their big contracts right now are, they've got, for this year, $8 million. Next year, $12 million locked up with Daniel Murphy. They've got $35 million locked up with Nolan Arenado, who we're talking about right now.
So a couple dollars.
They've got $21 million locked up in Charlie Blackmon. Desmond's he's got a weird contract. He's making $15 million.
That's too much to be making.
$8 million next year, and then it goes back to $15 million if they take that club option.
No, they're not gonna.
You've also got what is this? Your boy, you just mentioned him, Wade Davis. It's only your boy because you just mentioned him. He's making a cool $17 million this year.
It's too much.
He's also going to be making a cool $15 million next year. Jake McGee's making $9.5 million. Brian Shaw $9 million. Yeah, they got some big contracts, and those $9 millions kind of seem small when you look at the Arenado and the Charlie Blackmons and then the Wade Davises. But yeah, Arenado not happy. And it's weird that the Rockies were like, hey, we're going to trade you. And then recently we're like, nope, trades are off. We're not going to talk.
So here's one thing, and this is why, and Wade Davis, for any of those who think that, Wade Davis, but he's good. I remember him with the Royals. Yeah, that was when he was with the Royals. Because for the Rockies, in 2018, his ERA was 4.13.
Wasn't he also with the Cubs,
not even the worst one. Yeah, he was good with the Cubs. That's not even the worst one. The
Cubs
2019
too.
Rockies,
Yeah.
he had 41 earned runs, a win, 6 losses, only 15 saves, and an 8.65 ERA.
Yeah.
You could pay me $17 million to give you an 8.65 ERA.
We let him walk at the right time.
Yeah, so did the Royals. So $17 million. And let's see, just for gigs, Desmond. So Desmond last year in 2019 had 20 homers and 65 RBIs, batting at .255. That's not worth what he's making. In 2018, he had 22 homers and 88 RBIs, .236 average, not good. 2017 with the Rockies, 7 home runs and 40 RBIs, .274 average. He had 95 games played in 2017, 160 games played in 18, and 140 in 19. He is not worth the money that he is getting. So there are some bad contracts, just 2, right now on the Rockies roster that we know of. But my whole point, and then Ricky, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
What does Nolan Arenado want them to do? They are kind of tied here on what they're able to do because of money that are locked up in bad contracts, and then certainly with Nolan. I mean, obviously, he got his big payday. That's great. He should be happy. He shouldn't want to get traded. He just had this payday, it seems like a year ago? Last summer?
So here's the thing that I'm getting from this is it's not what Arenado wants the Rockies to do necessarily. I think it's just the writing on the wall for Arenado, where he's probably sitting there. He probably signed the deal because he's like, you know what? I'm happy to be a Rocky. They're going to give me all this money. We're going to win. And then a little bit goes by and it's like, you know what? We're not going to win here. I can't win here. He's already 28. By the time the deal is over, he will be, let's see, how old is he going to be when this deal is over? And actually, looking at his birthday, he is going to be 29 before the season starts, or right after. He turns 29 on April 16th of this year. So he'll be 29 for this season. When his contract ends, he will be, the next time he's a free agent, he's going to be a 36-year-old. So everyone do this right now. This is what he can do to his prime if he stays on the Rockies. Bye, have a beautiful time. Basically, the guy at the end of all the American Dad and Family Guy episodes, basically waving that prime away. That's what I think this is. He doesn't want to waste his prime. He knows that the Rockies can't do anything because of Wade Davis, because of Charlie Blackmon, because of his contract. That's why he just wants to get out. He just wants to move somewhere else. And does he have the right to do that? Part of me is like, yeah, if you're unhappy, voice it with your GM, but it's a double-edged sword. You can voice that you're unhappy, but the GM of the Rockies is only going to make a deal if they're going to get the right asking price for you. They're just not going to give you away for nothing. And then it comes down to the bigger question for me. Where are they going to trade him? Where is he going to go? And right now, the two big suitors, the Cardinals really want him. The Rangers really want him. I know the Cubs have been linked to him. The Mets have also been linked as well. So those, to me, I just want to look at those four teams. Cardinals, Rangers, Mets, and Cardinals. Or Cardinals, Rangers, Mets, and Cubs. There's an article that I'm looking at right here from DodgerBlue.com. And they say that it looks like the thing that the Rockies are looking for, they're seeking a top catching prospect, players to immediately improve the roster. And the thing that I look at is, if we just took that one part, the top catching prospect, do you know who has the best catching the top 10 catching prospects for this year? Do you want to know which out of the four teams I mentioned, which one has the best one? If you had to guess, Cardinals, Rangers, Cubs, or Mets. Who is the best catching prospect?
I'm going to just guess the Mets.
The Mets. They have Francisco Alvarez. Locked down until 2023. He's currently number 5. The Rangers have Sam Huff. He's at 8. And the Cubs have Miguel Arnaya. I hope I'm saying that right. He's at 10. So to me, the team that should be in the driver's seat to get Arenado are the Mets. Do they have the firepower to get it done? I think they do, because I think if there's a package, if the Mets want to put Alvarez in that package, there's also rumors that they might want to trade Cespedes as well. I hope I'm saying that name right. I always screw up his name. Cespedes? I always screw up his name. You know this.
It sounds like you're trying to say asbestos and said it wrong.
I know. I always screw up his name.
Do you have asbestos? You mean asbestos?
Oh, I'm an idiot. So there's rumors that they're going to trade him. If they put him and Alvarez in a deal, if I'm the Rockies, that's a good start. That is the basis of a deal that I'd be happy with if we're giving up Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, but here's one of my biggest things is who's paying for that money?
What do you mean?
Who's paying for the contract? Are the Rockies going to eat the rest of his contract? Or is the other team taking it? Because he is due $234 million over the next 7 seasons. He's due stupid money. Stupid money. Not many teams are going to just have that laying around unless you're called the Yankees.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that you got to look at as well is, let me look at the year by year. breakdown for him. Okay. This complicates things. $29.5 million this year. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. That complicates things. If I'm the Rockies, why would I give up Arenado, who's locked down for basically the next forever until he's 26, for, yes, I'm getting a young catching prospect that I would have control over, and an outfielder that, would help the team right away, but he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, and I could possibly lose him. So, I mean, that changes things a little bit in my mind.
I think the Rockies would be looking for a whole lot more than just those two players. Mm-hmm. I mean, two players?
Well, no. I'm saying that would be the framework. Of course, you're going to give up more prospects, more players to help the team now, whichever you want, but that would be the framework for a Mets deal, which I think the Rockies would be happy with.
So there's an article, and I'm sure you've seen it, on MLB.com, written yesterday, so January 21st, by John Paul Morosi. Yeah. And in the end of his article, he says, the White Sox are consistently mentioned by people in the industry as a potential Arenado suitor. While it's presumed that Arenado would prefer the Cardinals to the White Sox, due in part to his comfort in the National League, the White Sox present an opportunity to compete immediately in the winnable American League Central. I want to say, coming at this perspective from a White Sox fan, I don't want to. Yeah. I like the team that we have. I don't want to pay incredibly large amounts of money for one guy after we lost out on Machado and Harper, and I saw that and I'm like, oh, good. Plus, I'm glad we did. Actually,
you're gonna have young guys that you gotta pay.
Why would some people are okay giving up? They're like, oh, I wonder who we would give up, Michael Kopech and Yohan Moncada for him. You moron! Why would we give them up? Why would we give up anybody that we currently have with what seemed... We don't know if it's going to work or not. I mean,
hey, Sam...
We've had disappointment for a number of years, but
Sam, one of our patrons, he's been saying on Superfans for the longest time that his prediction is that the White Sox are winning the Central this year.
I like his prediction. I don't want to get too excited because they're still the Minnesota Twins, and everyone's like, oh, the Twins. There's no way the Twins are going to have the same power they had last year. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that they're juicing, and I'm going to be really mad at them more than usual because I'll think they're cheating.
And, I mean, they just got Donaldson. They just got Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, like a 39-year-old Josh Donaldson.
Hey, he's better than nothing. He's going to help that team.
We'll see. I'm just bitter because I hate seeing other teams in our division do well outside of the Royals, because I have a little soft spot for them.
Well, that's the main reason why, if you ask me, the one team I don't want Arenado to go to, I don't want him anywhere near St. Louis.
He can go there.
I don't want him anywhere near the Cardinals because if he goes to the Cardinals, he makes them instantly better. And as a Cub fan, I don't want the Cardinals to be better.
And the Cardinals, I think, already are instantly better than the Cubs right now anyways.
I mean... Do you think the Ozuna loss is a big one? Because didn't they just lose Ozuna to the Braves?
Braves. On $18 million on 1 year. I would love that money for 1 year. Never going to get it, but it'd be fun.
I would take $1 million for 1 year. Not even like
I'd take $500,000.
I would take $25,000. I would take six figures.
For 1 year?
For 1 year. Yeah. I could
and
live off that.
$25,000 is 5 figures.
No, I'm sorry. $250,000. That's what I was saying in my head.
$25,000. I'll take six figures.
I thought a number in my head, and then I said something else. You know me, brain's working different.
I do. I do. But I don't think this will ever happen with the White Sox. I don't think they're going to trade him. I don't think they're going to do it.
You think Arenado's a Rocky day one of the MLB season?
Yes, this year, yeah.
Does he get traded by the trade deadline?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I don't think they're going to trade him, though, right away. They're not going to make it that easy.
See, but that's the thing, and I can't remember if I mentioned this on Superfans or not, but so it's weird how his contract works because there's technically I missed this earlier on. Arenado can technically get out of the deal after the 2021 season because it's weird. There's a player opt-out after the 2021 season. So after this year and next year, he could say, bye, I'm gone, and then leave. Odds are he probably does that. But if I'm the Rockies, if the price ain't right and you're not giving me exactly what I want, I don't have to trade him at all this year. I don't have to trade him by the deadline. I don't have to do anything because I know for sure that I'll have him in 2021. Now, the thing with the Rockies is the longer you sit on this, the longer you sit on this, the more the offers are going to go down. Because if you wait until next offseason, the offers aren't going to get better because teams are going to know you're going to have to trade him this season. But if I'm a contender, like the Cardinals, I'll say the Cardinals, I'll say the Cubs, because the Cubs would be a contender. Do you want to trade for Arenado knowing that, okay, I'm a contender. If I'm good, he's going to opt in 2022, and then he's locked down until 2026. If you're the Rangers, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Mets, why wouldn't you say, yeah, you know what, it'd be nice to have Arenado, but I'll keep my pieces. I'll let you keep Arenado for the next 2 years. He'll become a free agent in 2022, and I'll take my chances in free agency. Because then you can get him on a deal. You can try to get him on a deal that you like, and you don't necessarily have to lock him down for the next, well, I guess that would be the next 4 years. So maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. I just look at it and go, if you're a competitor, do you worry that he would opt in 2022 and basically you'd be stuck with him until 2026 unless you trade him? Or would you want him to opt out and then you have the chance to sign him in free agency to a deal that you maybe like better than the one he currently has?
Yeah, I think that's what I would probably be looking to do. Mm-hmm. He'd probably be looking for more money.
Yeah.
But there'd
Which
be
is a possibility.
But there'd be a team out there who would be willing to do it. Mm-hmm. But I could see him. I think he's going to be on the Blue Jays. I think he's going to be on the Rockies roster come opening day. Mm-hmm. And I think that if anything happens, maybe he's traded at the trade deadline potentially. But I don't. I think something ends up. I think this starts to settle down a little bit with the Rockies. Mm-hmm. First of all, I feel like it came out of left field. And then, but again, I'm not following the Rockies, every single day. I apologize. But
you don't got to apologize, Brandon.
Okay. Well, not to you, but somebody else out there, and maybe I do. But I do think that, there's going to be something that you look at with this. I just kind of scratch my head. I want to try and figure out exactly what happened. Is it that they didn't do enough this offseason to try and do anything? But again, like I said at the beginning of this segment, there really wasn't a whole lot they could do because their money is tied up elsewhere in other contracts of guys they already have. But I just don't see any deal being worked out before the season starts. I think Arenado is going to be on the Rockies at the beginning of the year, and then we'll see what happens going through. And maybe the Rockies have a turnaround. Maybe there's a change of heart. I don't know, but I just feel like this type of player, he is an outstanding talent. He is one of the best third basemen in baseball. Mm-hmm. You don't want to lose that. And Nolan also at the same time knows how important he is and knows you don't want to lose that. So at the same time, you have a little bit of leverage, I think, if you're the player.
And Kingy, I'm sorry, I just saw this in Twitch chat, so don't know if it's been sitting there a while. He says, Mets new owner. I forgot that the Mets they have a new owner right now, billionaire. Let's see, what's his name? Steve Cohen. Greenwich billionaire Steve Cohen to become majority owner of the New York Mets. So they have a new owner as of December, so that's why you're probably seeing their name shaken up a little bit to try to get in things. But if I had to put a prediction on this, I would say there's two teams that I think he gets traded to if it is this year. I will agree with you. He's a Rocky day one. But if he's traded this year, my number one pick is the Rangers. My number two pick is the Mets. And the reason why I say that, I don't think the Cardinals have the catch. I think the Rockies are going to hold that catching prospect as we got to get that. And the Cardinals just don't have the catching prospect to get the deal done. The Mets and the Rangers do. They have two of the top 10 coming into this year. And I think that the Rangers get it done first because they're going to be so aggressive to get it done. Getting Corey Kluber for this year. With the Astros, if the Astros start to fall this year because of everything we just talked about, and the Rangers see this division up for grabs, they're going to try to do whatever they can to get Arenado on their team, even if it means selling the farm to do so. And I just say the Mets because I don't think the Cubs want to give up any more prospects after we basically gave the New York Yankees our entire farm. Every time I see Gleyber Torres do great things, I think the same thing every time, and I tell Jake, our patron, who's a Yankee fan, every time I see Gleyber Torres do something good, in my mind, I picture him in a Cub uniform because that's what he should have been in. I know we got our Roldis Chapman and we wouldn't have our ring. Gleyber Torres had to die for our World Series championship, and by doing that, I mean he had to go to the New York Yankees. So I realize what happened, but I still would love Gleyber Torres in a Cub uniform today. But the Mets, if they start making a run in the East this year and are that like Braves-like team last year, where I think the Braves were that surprise team, I think it was last year, was like, what the fuck are the Braves doing? Like, why are they? We didn't expect them to be winning the division. If they're having a run like that this year, I think the Mets look for someone to be that catalyst for a playoff run. And then they go, okay, we've got the best catching prospect out of all the teams interested. Let's get a deal done to help out our playoff chances this year because we know we might playoff experiences. You don't want to be like the Nationals. Yes, the Nationals won the World Series this year, but how are we looking at the Nationals the year that Steven Strasburg is on an innings limit and then they shut him down for the playoffs and they lost in that DS? And I remember I was wrong, but I said right after that, the Nationals, this will come to haunt you. You will never win a World Series, and this will be your best chance.
That certainly wasn't an overreaction Monday.
Well, that was overreaction. And then also, I remember saying on Superfans before the playoffs started, if I'm the Cubs, the one team I'm not afraid of is the Washington Nationals. And then they just went on to win the World Series. No big deal. So they listen to the podcast. I know they do. They do. They listen to all of our podcasts. They wanted to prove me wrong. So that's what happened there. But I think if he gets traded this year, the Rangers, I'm going to say 75% chance he goes to the Rangers, 25% chance he goes to the Mets.
Any final comments?
That's it.